Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Monday morning. Got a great show lined up, but first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. This is getting a little bit better, okay? Water temperature is 86 degrees. Air temperature high of 87 and low of 76. About 11 degree swing there. The Monday moon forecast. We like to do this every Monday. Brought to us by Sand Hill Seafood and Restaurant up on Highway 77 north of Bozeman School. Really good food there, but looking at the full moon tonight. That's right. That's why this weekend was such good fishing. If you could dodge the rain, a couple of days before the full moon in August, looking real good. Tonight's a full moon. Fishing today, I don't think it's going to be really good. I really don't. I think it's going to be, I know you might catch some, but it's going to be just a slow day. But now look at the tide chart. Check out the tide chart. You can get some of those what we call flood tides. If you're up right now fishing, you're going to catch some fish because the water's going to be pushed up in the flats. It's going to be excellent fishing right now. But throughout the day, as the moon gets on up, it's the sun. And the draw between that is just, to me, and a lot of guys that fish will always say the same thing, the day of the full moon is not all that good. But anyway, great tide today. In fact, the high tide is going to be at 9:35 this morning. So if you're watching the show, just as soon as it's over, hit the water if you can, if you bait fish. Low tide is at 7:54 tonight. Good, strong 2.1 foot range, okay? And the, like I said, the water temperature is 86 degrees, been pretty steady for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. Let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Hope you're enjoying that cup of coffee. I know a lot of y'all getting ready to go to work. Some of y'all be getting ready to go to school pretty soon, but some of y'all are already walking out of the house. But let's start looking at some pictures, okay? This is right here, Devin Lock, L-O-C-K-E. I had some kinfolks at Locks. Had to slip off to the river since the Gulf was so nasty. Folks, you can always do good at the river if you can't get out in the Gulf. Y'all remember Robert David Whitfield Jr.? He was on the show before talking about the Hunt, Fish, Share app that he actually invented and has that app himself. And, you know, he's a big outdoorsman. They do a lot of land maintenance and all for wildlife. And he was out the other day, and he says 16 rattlesnakes. Well, you look around I first started looking in the ground trying to find the rattlesnakes, and I couldn't find them. You look up here on the blade, okay, there's a mama rattlesnake. And then, see all the baby rattlesnakes? He got them. So he had a nest of them, and he didn't, you know, they got dogs hunt that area and everything. And they didn't want a big old nest of rattlesnakes there, and I don't blame them. That's a lot of rattlesnakes right there that he bulldozed over. They didn't do it on purpose, but they were there, and so it stirred up a hornet's nest. Jason Shingler, a good fishing captain here locally, and one of my Facebook friends, mangrove snapper. He posted this on Panama City Fishing. This is a mangrove snapper. They're getting thick and a little bigger than the average from recent years. He got a few well over 15 inch last couple of days, so that's some really good eating right there. Daniel Fossil out here at Bay Point Marina, if you look at it real close, that's 2 manatees up under the boat. Last couple of days of them out there. Daniel out there. Okay, check this out. The first announcement of the first annual Seasons of Hope Outdoors Trout Tournament. This will be Michael and his crew. Y'all all know Michael, and he's putting this on. It's going to be September 30th. Now, it's a little bit, it's 6 weeks away, but I just, you know, if you're like me, you like to write this stuff down on your calendar as far in advance as you can. He's got some people sponsoring it really good. Michael Hare's phone number on the lower right-hand side over there. He's going to be first, second, third places, and have a 13-year-old division, and all kind of good things going on. The live music by country music singer Drew Ellis is going to be a good tournament there. And it's going to be September 30th, okay? All right, your moms appreciate this, especially old school moms, for their hard to reach children in the back seat. You get a little extender for your flip-flops. All right, now this is a lightning strike. This is actually down in Jupiter, but I read about it, someone showed me about it. And these folks were out, and the lightning hit this fishing rod right here. And at first I thought it was the top to the boat. I looked at it really close, and they said it's a fiber and all the inside. But you know, if a rod is made out of fiberglass and all, and that's a wrap of it. I got another picture of it here, little close-up picture. Isn't that amazing? It didn't hurt anybody on the boat, but it just hit that rod. And I don't think that was a direct. I think that was a side strike. And here he is back at the landing, holding it by the handle, and it just completely melted it. I brought a pine cone in this morning. The other day when I was walking in the woods, I take my time walking through the woods, and I say I was looking for snakes, so I was constantly looking down. I couldn't find the snakes, but found plenty of pine cones. This is what you call a green cone. I wanted to bring it in because most of us are used to seeing all the petals are completely open and the cone is brown. But these are fascinating because what happens, the squirrels, just like that, you can always find where the squirrels are by looking on the ground in the summertime, because these petals, every one of them be peeled off. I was going to try to peel some off, but this is really hard. It's really sort of sharp, and it's heavy because it has a lot of rosin in it. Now these petals are not the seeds. The seeds are on the inside, so the squirrel will just start peeling them back one at a time. They'll start here at the bottom. They don't start at the top. They start at the bottom. They just go round and round. It's amazing how sharp their teeth are. Go round and round, and the seeds are on the inside, and that's their food. And they eat a lot of that in the summertime. I'd be walking a little while, and then all of a sudden I just see fresh petals, like a circle, like rose petals in a circle somebody just threw out. And I know to look up because I know that squirrel has been up there eating. So that I just want to share that with you, because pine cones, they go a long way in our forest habitat. Of course the seeds are in there, and of course all the seeds won't develop, but see all the pine cones and all, and it's fascinating to watch the pine cones throughout the year. You don't find a lot of these. Now when a strong wind comes through at your house or something, you got some pine trees in the yard and a really strong wind will come along, a lot of times you see these falling, a few of them falling on the ground, not many. And sometimes you'll see the small limb itself break off, and because these are heavy, and then these fall off with it. But pine cones, they certainly have a strong place in our nature cycle, and because these squirrels, though, I get a kick out of them. That picture I was showing you, I wanted to find it and show you they eat a lot of these seeds inside of pine cones. So all these little things are important. Also, one more thing too, I got to talk. We the public had that speckled trout. FWC went around the state and all the way up in this area on the speckled trout workshop and wanted feedback from the different folks and all. And it's not, they didn't really have a good turnout here locally on the one they had last week here. But I know one of the guys that came in that spoke, and they let everybody speak there. We always talk about giving input as to how we feel about what's going on outdoors. And one of the guys that spoke, he was a captain. He has a couple of captains working under him. They worked St. Joe Bay area in that place called the Bay, and they really are having trouble now. St. Joe Bay actually getting a limit for the whole boat. Now keep in mind, sometimes there's 3 or 4 people on a boat, and they're coming down from Georgia and Alabama, and they want a limit. So, the limit's 5, and you're talking about 4 people, that's 20 full-size speckled trout. But they used to go out there never having problems, getting all the trout they wanted. But the last 2 years, he and his captains are having trouble really getting a full boatload of fish like they normally do. So they, and that goes along with what we're saying about what's happening in the St. Joe, with the St. Joe Canal and all that. So it goes hand in hand. So anyway, my understanding is the folks at FWC are really disappointed at the turnout of the crowd on the speckled trout workshop. And it does affect a lot of people. Now, they have an upcoming Goliath grouper workshop here, and they have one in Carabel. When they have these workshops, they do them around the state, but they have one, usually when they have them in this area, it's at Carabel or either St. Joe, one in Panama City, and then one over there in Destin. They hit that area there. That covers a lot of fishermen there, so just be aware of that. Okay, I do want to mention this now because I'm going to talk a lot more about it. Coming up August the 21st, which is actually 2 weeks from today, will be the Florida solar eclipse. I'm going to talk more about it, and it's really going to be fascinating. But here in Panama City, we're going to have about an 83% of a shadow across there. Mariana's going to have about 86%, Tallahassee 86.5. Of course, the further north you are, like Lake City 88, and then of course down in South Florida, like in Naples, they're only covering about 76%. So it's amazing to me how they can figure out what's what and all. But anyway, we're going to talk more about that eclipse 2 weeks from tonight. Let's hope it's a really good, clear night. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's talk a minute about pier fishing. I went out there the other day. I love to check up on them. I called out there a good bit, but also I like to just go out there and get the feel of things. And Gail and I went out there the other afternoon and I got to talk to Carrie. But we were very fortunate here that we have 2 piers. We have the county pier and the city pier, and they are identical twins, the same size. And really, basically what it's boiled down to over the years, a lot of locals seem to fish the county pier the majority of them, and then a lot of out-of-town folks, but locals also fish the city pier. I also have a pier over in the bar, which is a nice pier. I go in there once a year to check up on things, and you can consider down at East Point, the bridge, the old St. George Island Bridge, I consider that a pier because it's just like fishing off a pier. So we got four structures that really go out into the Gulf that's open to the public, and you can fish at any time, 24 hours a day. So it's really fascinating to have that kind of fishing, and you can catch a lot of fish. I have a good friend of mine, Bill Angevine, keeps me posted on what's going on. There's been a variety this summer, a variety of fishing going on out there, and I called Carrie. Carrie works out there, been out there for years, and this time we went out there and I took the camera and I went ahead and did an interview. Finally got Carrie on the camera, so you're going to see him on the camera, and he's going to talk a few minutes about what's been going on this summer, what we can expect in August. But also I showed a little footage of the swimmers right there, close to the pier. There's a sign that says, keep 400 feet away from the pier for swimmers too, because of people fishing and all. Of course, no one pays any attention to it. And I was thinking, about 400 feet, a little bit over the length of a football field, so that's a good rule, but I don't think it's ever been enforced, and I don't know if it will, I don't know if it ever had accidents or not, but it's right there, right where the waves are breaking, there's no problem. But out there where, a lot of times the pompano will be in that shallow water and all, so you don't hear my voice during while he's showing those kids and all these people playing in the water, but they're right next to the pier, and they're really supposed to be away from it. And I don't think the city or county has lifeguards at the pier. They used to have lifeguards at the pier, and they used to be pretty well enforced, but it's been a long time since that's happened. So anyway, let's sit back and enjoy this little interview I had with Carrie and see what's going on at the Panama City Beach Pier. All right, I'm here with Carrie. Y'all hear me? We talk on the phone a lot, but this is a real Carrie now. And
McCoy.
Yeah, he keeps getting interrupted. People want to come on the pier. But just tell the folks what you just tell me. We've had a good week and all at the pier.
Yeah, they've caught a lot of fish this past week. It's been probably a little slow in July from normal, but they do, they are starting to catch fish. They caught sailfish today. They've been catching tarpon, and they've caught several cobias this late July, early August. Thank y'all.
Caught cobia today. It's sort of been a late summer run on the cobia, hasn't it?
Right, they coming back through, and they've been catching. Usually we catch some that come back through in July, but this year they seem to be really hungry when they're coming back through, and they're catching quite a few of them. So they're showing up.
So the month of July, you'd consider it pretty well a good even month on everything, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It was a little slow starting out, but it's turned out to be a good month at the end of the month.
So we're in August now. So what we're looking for in August?
I expect if we get good weather, we'll keep right on catching fish.
Good deal. I saw some redfish.
Tarpon are out there.
Yeah, nice tarpon. And a guy had one hooked a while ago. And lost it. So, okay, we appreciate all the reports and all you give us. So I just want to do one in person so people know when they hear your voices.
See who I am.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Don't send the FBI around.
Okay, buddy. Folks, we got to take a look at this. Those pelicans out there, they're in a buffet. They're feeding on those bait fish. They just, look at them. See the big wad of bait fish underneath them? And they're just going to pick out one. They just sort of dip under them. Check it out. You see the flashes. Look at him going. There you go. He got him one. That is funny. That is nature. First thing I noticed when I walked out here were all the bait fish, which is always a great sign. Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that little video. Try to stay on top of things throughout the Panhandle, and going out there talking to care is a good way to do it on that situation. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe, 12:23 to 2:23 this morning and tonight. This evening, right after lunch, 12:47 to 2:47. It'll be a good time is what they're saying. Okay, we're talking about scalloping and boating and all that. You know, the scallop season did open down in Citrus County. And we're talking about boating. You know, we had Travis on here, and I've talked about a lot about boating citations, and you don't want to get a boating citation, and we go over exactly what we need to do so that won't happen. Check this out. Now, Bill sent this to me. Okay, here it is. Several officers assisted the numerous boaters in the water during the second week of scallop detail. There were 29 boating safety citations, 119 boating safety warnings, 32 dive flag citations, and 110 dive flag warnings over a 3-day period. That's almost incredible. I mean, 110 boating safety warnings and 110 dive flag warnings. We just gotta not obey the rules. There's just common sense. Those rules are common sense. You put a dive flag up, we got people out there. You got safety stuff on your boat. So anyway, you know, we just take it for granted that everybody does that. Obviously they don't. So I just thank you, Bill, for sending that to me. And I hope if and when we all get started scalloping in this area, well, we won't have that many citations. I'd be interested to see how many we have. I bet we don't have near that many. Of course, there's a lot more people down there too. That's right off the coast on down below. Not the Stenhatchee area, down right below that, the area down there. So you get a lot of the Tampa people coming up, north of Tampa, coming into that area. Okay, speaking of boating and all, it happens to everybody at least one time. This happened to me the other day. I want to share it with you. I don't care how seasoned you think you are in doing all these things. The other morning, Gail and I got up at 4:30. All we were going to do is just run out in North Bay for a couple of hours and do some trout fishing and red fishing. I'm trying to catch that tagged redfish. Got everything ready. You know how you do the night before. And anyway, got all the way down to the boat ramp in Lynn Haven. She got in the truck. She was backing me up. I said, well, let me check the battery. I always check the battery. Just turn the key before I put it in water, just so click one time. Folks, I had a dead battery. I could not believe it. Well, first of all, I never remember not checking my battery the night before. I don't know why I didn't do it that night before, but it happened to me. We had everything there, and I said, I ain't believing it. So I laughed. I said, you know, I ain't believing this happened to me, but it does happen to you, and I didn't. Anyway, it's not going to happen again because I've always checked it. But anyway, you got to have that boat checklist, and I know that, but I try to do it in my head now, which probably as older I'm getting real forgetful, and I think I do all these things. You know, like you have a boat check. You know, everything we talk about in the boat. I know I have it in there. I did go over my life jackets and paddle and all that. I went over the boat, wanted to make sure I had all that. Why I didn't turn my little ignition just to check it, I don't know what happened, but I didn't. So be aware of that. Okay, now let's get to. Well, I got a couple minutes left. We were going to try to catch some trout. And I'm hearing a lot of things, interesting things now. The trout bite in West Bay and North Bay, people are catching trout, but nobody hardly limiting out. We're not catching big trout. That's what goes by that speckled trout workshop. They're a little bigger in East Bay, but West Bay it's hard to get a limit. And I'm talking to people who go a lot. I want to show you this. When I was doing a book, I wanted to tie in 100 years of boat building and fishing history. And what I was able to do, I got a lot of history, but toward the end of the book, I wanted to tie in some sort of, tie it together with sort of things going on at the present time and maybe what our future would be. And it really was not hardly a better fish. And of course, the red snapper to put that on the cover of it, but also inshore the speckled trout. That's a great barometer of, of fishing, of healthy fishing. So here's a page, toward the end of the book, I did 2 pages on the speckled trout. And here, just this page right here, this was fascinating. The Bay County, we had a speckled trout club here, folks, in 1988. And it would meet once a month, have a little tournament. And I read some of the names in here. I mean, you're talking about some legends, Bill Hastings, Mike Perdue, Gary Messick, Philip Money, Mike Ware. Several of these people passed on now, but these guys were just down-to-earth, really good fishermen. And then in this 1923, this article out of 1923, a 9-pound speckled trout caught here, right there in Masalina Bayou, and you know where that is, Masalina Bayou, had 30 inches long. So we've had a really strong, healthy speckled trout population. That's one page in the book on speckled trout. On the page flipped over from it, check this out. I was trying to find somebody who had recently, within the last 20 years, caught a 10-pound or 9-pound. And look who I found. That's Greg Brudnicki. That's a young Greg Brudnicki. Largest speckled trout he ever caught. This was 33 incher, weighed in at 10 pounds, 2 ounces. He caught in January of '89. And then in the lower right-hand corner, y'all recognize those two young men. They were still in high school. Actually, they were in my class when I was doing the book. That's Matt Smith and Justin Leak. And I told them if they want to be in my book, they better go out and catch a couple of big trout. And fascinating. That's a story within itself, because guess who they called to take them to go out with them? They called their buddy Fred Myers. So Fred and those three guys went out, and I told them I had a deadline. Seriously, they were getting close to the deadline. I said, I got a deadline like next Thursday. I said, if you don't get these pictures in, you're not going to be in my book. And they were all pumped up about being in the book. And they went out, and I should have put Fred in there, but I just had Matt and Justin. They were in my class then. So anyway, that's how that happened. But my point is, we had even not that long ago, such a healthy trout population. And we don't seem to have that now, and for various reasons. I'm not a biologist, and I'm not, I have my own theories and all, but I just want you to know that our history and heritage on trout fishing has been really strong, especially back in the day. They just caught a bunch of them, and they didn't have limits. They just caught them and ate them. And it really wasn't a big market for speckled trout. A bigger market for mullet. You could bring a lot of mullet to market. They'd probably bring speckled trout. They'd buy them, but they wouldn't pay all that much for them. So wasn't a big market for them. It turned into a sport fish more than anything. So anyway, that's how things are going on. Listen, we've got to wrap things up for today. Got a big week planned. Hope you have a great day today. Make sure you always do something good for your fellow man. Take time to do something for them, especially people in need. Okay, you have a great day. Enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.